Welcome to this video by Everactive Schools on our exciting project, the Hosting Healthy Sporting Events project. In this video, you're going to get a little bit of background about Everactive Schools and this project, as well as a VIP tour of our new electronic toolkit. This toolkit is in place to support teachers, coaches, athletic directors, recreation, and community programmers in making over their food environments in places where physical activity and sport are the focus. Let's check it out. Everactive Schools provides provincial leadership that promotes and supports healthy, active school communities. We're funded by 3 different government ministries, including Alberta Culture and Tourism, Alberta Education, and Alberta Health. We fall underneath the Alberta Teachers Association and our special project of the Health and Physical Education Council. Everactive Schools supports healthy school communities in many different ways. We work closely with many partners. We support wellness education through many of our own free resources, such as our recipe card lesson plans, and we promote resources from many of our provincial partners. We offer professional learning opportunities related to student leadership, physical literacy, daily physical activity, positive social environments, and more. We host a number of healthy, active school symposia around the province, which brings together school teams to inspire, engage, and empower student leadership. Additionally, we build capacity through innovative projects. Today, we're going to focus on just one of those projects, which is hosting healthy sporting events. The Hosting Healthy Sporting Events project is a partnership with the Alberta Schools Athletic Association and is funded by the Wellness Fund through the University of Alberta. The idea behind this project is simple. Our environments shape our eating habits, and healthy foods should exist in settings that promote physical activity participation. This project has been going on for a few years now, and it's currently in its 3rd phase. Phase 1 helped to identify key stakeholders and sought feedback from school community leaders. During this time, we found that 86% of respondents to an online survey indicated that they would support only healthy eating options within their school sporting events. These findings are mirrored in research as well. A study out of the School of Public Health at the University of Alberta looked at parent and student support for school policies that promote healthy eating and active living and found that these stakeholder groups overwhelmingly support these policies. In Phase 2, which took place just last year, focus groups were organized to determine and discuss barriers for, as well as inform next steps in building support for policy development. Through data gathered from these focus groups, an electronic toolkit was developed to support school communities in creating healthy eating environments. The toolkit can be found on the Everactive Schools website, and we'll be reviewing a bit of it at the end of this video. This year, we're working more closely with schools and our partners to put the toolkit into practice and champion health tournaments. Alberta Schools Athletic Association is looking at implementing a policy that would require championship hosts to address the food served at tournaments. Therefore, we've been recruiting championship hosts to lead this change. The proposed policy is asking schools to provide foods from the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines for Children and Youth using the Choose Most Often and the Choose Sometimes categories. Therefore, before we go into a tour of the toolkit, we'd like to provide more information on these guidelines. The Alberta Nutrition Guidelines are based on Canada's Food Guide. Specifically, it mirrors the food groups, portion sizes, and serving recommendations. The essence of the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines is to promote foods that have high nutritional value and limit fat, sugar, and salt. The guidelines assist with making decisions about healthy food choices in childcare facilities, schools, and recreation and community centers. They encourage and support healthy food choices, healthy portion sizes, label reading, menu planning, and policy development. In school facilities, the guidelines make suggestions such as having vending machines stocked with appropriate sized packages and containers, enhancing access to safe eating environments by encouraging healthier food choices be competitively priced relative to less nutrition foods, creating environments that support healthy food choices by reinforcing healthy eating concepts taught in school, and providing a range of choices based on the criteria according to grade levels. That's found on this slide right now. So as you can see, based on the grade level of the school, different guidelines are suggested. In elementary schools, it's suggested that the school be 100% choose most often. So in just a few slides, we're going to go over what choose most often versus choose sometimes is. But elementary schools are encouraged to be 100% choose most often. Junior high schools, 60% choose most often, 40% choose sometimes, and high schools about 50-50. Mixed grade levels are encouraged to follow the most conservative guidelines. In recreation facilities, the guidelines make suggestions such as vegetables and fruit should be readily and consistently available. Vending machines should contain healthy foods. Make healthier food options fresh, accessible, attractively packaged, and prominently displayed. The recommendations are for coaches, boys and girls clubs, day summer camp programs, and anything else that runs out of the facility. Although recreation and community centers do not only target school-age children and youth, it is important to be aware of the recommendations and have a consistent message in all facilities that typically supply food to this age group. As it was hinted when we talked about the recommendations for the different grades in schools, the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines for Children and Youth have 3 different food classification categories: choose most often, choose sometimes, and choose least often. The choose most often foods should be consumed daily and in appropriate amounts and portion sizes based on age category. These foods are all recommended as healthy choices in Eating Well with Canada's Food Guide. Some examples include fresh and frozen vegetables with low sodium, all fresh, frozen, and canned fruits with no sugar added, whole grains, breads, and pastas, skim 1% and 2% milk, as well as unflavored fortified soy beverages. Lean meats such as poultry and fish that are baked, broiled, boiled, or poached, as well as legumes, nuts, and seeds. Choose sometimes foods may still provide beneficial nutrients, but they tend to be higher in added sugar, unhealthy fat, and sodium. Some examples include fresh, frozen, and canned vegetables with added sodium or sauces, French fries baked from fresh or frozen, not battered or coated, grain products made from white or unbleached flour, meats that have added sauces or coating, luncheon meats and sausages such as beef jerky, and nuts and seeds with added salt. Additionally, skim 1% and 2% flavored milk products would be in this category, such as chocolate milk. The last category is choose least often. These foods are not recommended as they are high in unhealthy fat, sugar, and salt. Examples include cakes and pastries, chocolates and candies, cookies, donuts, muffins, ice cream, deep fried French fries, chips, flavored drinks, pops, energy drinks, sports drinks, and chocolate bar milks. In this category, portion sizes do matter. Well, in all categories they do, but serving sizes for foods that are high in unhealthy fats, sugar, and salts are based on approximately 100 calories per serving. There are also considerations for beverages. When considering beverages, you should serve milk or fortified soy beverages with meals. Water should be encouraged between meals to quench thirst and help maintain good hydration. If fruit juice is offered, it should be unsweetened, 100% fruit juice or vegetable juice, and should be limited to half a cup per day. Caffeine-containing and sugar-sweetened beverages such as sport drinks, iced tea, and fruit-flavored beverages should be avoided. Caffeine can cause children to be excited, restless, and irritable, and it may also make it difficult for children to concentrate. And that brings us to the toolkit. So now I'm going to close down this PowerPoint and open up the website, and we're going to explore the toolkit a little bit. The toolkit is designed to be a one-stop shop for those that are trying to make over their food environments and also gain buy-in to make over these environments. And we definitely do have the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines on this toolkit, so they can be found in there. But the toolkit does have resources from outside of Alberta, and guidelines do differ slightly. However, the toolkit is intended as a way to support schools in positive change toward hosting healthy sporting events, recognize the further changes, and encourage further growth toward food services that do align with the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines for children and youth. Let's take a peek. So, moving here into the toolkit, let's start with accessing the toolkit. So there are a few different ways to access the toolkit from our website. One of them you can kind of see right here at the top is simply putting in the Everactive page, which is www.everactive.org, and then adding a /toolkit. So that will bring you right here to the landing page. But if you're on our home page and you're trying to figure out how to get here, if you go to what we do and then scroll down to projects, because this is one of our projects, and then come over to hosting healthy sporting events and then electronic toolkit. So that is the second way to bring you here. And this is our landing page. So now, as you can see on this landing page, as you move your mouse around, you'll see parts of the picture sort of highlight. We have 5 sections in this toolkit, and the sections are starting over here with the pink, nutrition guidelines, research and policy. Moving over here to is recipes, snack ideas, and sample menu. Success stories on the right. Coming down, we have promotions and marketing, which includes ready-to-use posters and presentations, and you can just print them and go. And lastly, it looks like this button is a little broken here. You shouldn't be able to see the text until your mouse is over top of it. But this last section is classroom and school health resources. The sections are designed to assist you in narrowing down your search as you either plan for an event, in which case you might be looking for some stories to get some ideas, or some menu ideas to plan your concession, and even some posters to put around your facility. Or maybe you're not ready to plan an event and you're just looking to gain buy-in from different groups, in which case, you might be drawn to this section where you're looking for some guidelines and some research to back up why this is important, and maybe some example policies of other places that have done this. Perhaps you aren't planning an event, but you want some supports in your classroom or your out of school program, in which case the comprehensive school health section might be a great start. Another important point to note is that certain documents and resources appear in multiple sections. However, within the individual sections, we've highlighted different pages within the documents depending on the section. So for example, let's click into menu here and scroll down. So making the move to the healthy choice, which is a healthy eating toolkit for recreation, sport, and community food service providers from Manitoba, can be found in both the menu section and the promotion section. So here in the menu section, we've pulled out a few different pages for you. So there's menu suggestions on pages 8 to 20. There's tips for planning meals for a tournament in pages 21 to 22. And then you can get full recipes on page 37 to 44. So if you open the document and come all the way down to page 37, try not to get too dizzy. So here we're in pages 37 to 44. You can get full recipes. So then if we go back and go to the promotion section, this document can also be found here, making the move to healthy choices. And we're saying that if you check out pages 31 to 32, you can get marketing tips. So here we go. So marketing the healthy choices. So although it can be found in 2 different sections, we've tried to narrow down the pages that you might be inclined to check out depending on the section it's found in. That's not the only resource that's found in multiple locations. There are a few different ones. Another one is the Sugar Shocker Education Kit from Alberta Health Services, which can be found in this promotion section. Here it is, number 1. In this section, you can find some drink photos and some stop yield go signs that you can print right away and use in your facilities, along with many other posters. And it can also be found in the comprehensive school health section. And we've pointed out the pages describing how to use the kit, along with the activities and some participant handouts. Now, let's go through each of the different sections and highlight a few of the different resources and the types of resources you're going to find in each of those sections. So starting with nutrition guidelines, research, and policy.
This page alone splits into a few different categories which have guidelines. Right at the top here, we start with the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines for Children and Youth, and then following it, we have a few documents that support that. So one that's specific to recreation community centers, one that talks about vending guidelines, and then there's an even broader resource which has nutrition guidelines for rec centers from the Canadian Parks and Recreation Association, the one from Manitoba that I hinted at just a moment ago, and some other ones. So lots of different stuff here with the Alberta ones right at the top. The next one is policy. So the policy section includes a variety of supports and resources surrounding policy, such as documents on policy development, like numbers 1 and 2. Documents that talk about request for proposal. So sometimes you're asking vendors to provide a proposal to put services into your facility. And there are certain guidelines you can put in those to make it healthy. So number 3 talks a little bit about that, as does number 9. There are stuff that talks about policy for sponsorship. Here on number 7, policy for fundraising. Here on number 6, some examples of policy. Here on number 8, and a tool to increase capacity for healthy policy change called the Policy Readiness Tool from the School of Public Health at the University of Alberta. Here on number 4. So lots of different things in this section. The research section is currently very heavy on the recreation side. Everactive Schools is trying to find more data on schools, and we will populate that as we get more. But for now, it is very heavy on the research side. If you look at numbers 1 to 5, they're all research papers with the primary author, Dana Olsted. She is a researcher with the School of Public Health at the University of Alberta who's looked a lot at the Alberta Nutrition Guidelines and the adoption of them in Alberta recreation centers. However, if you're not feeling like you have enough time to sit down and read them, Dana's done these great quick overviews here. So number 6, these are one-page research summaries of some of those papers found above. So it's a nice little one-pager with a bit of findings and a summary of the overall paper. And then right here on the left-hand side, it's some like quick take action tips. So that's really great. Okay, and then lastly in this section are a couple documents on safe food handling. So number 2 here is we're telling you to check out pages 16 to 19 from an Alberta resource, and then number 1 is that Manitoba resource again. Let's go back to the home page now and let's check out the recipes section. I think this section is pretty straightforward and also very handy. One of the top requests I was getting from those trying to make over a concession is what to serve, what are some recipes, and how much should I charge? And we've tried to capture resources that support these questions within this section. So we've really tried to pull out sample menus and specific recipes. So if you work your way through that, you'll see we've tried to highlight within the description what you're going to find. So here, Healthy You, it's recipes. Here in that resource, as I highlighted earlier, there's menu suggestions and tips for planning meals, and then full-on recipes. Here, number 8 is a snack handout that Everactive Schools put together using snack ideas from many of our partners. Like this first one is from Alberta Health Services. This second one is from Alberta Milk, and this third one is from Apple Schools. And then there's lots of different ones here. So these are quick, handy, healthy snack ideas. Great for after-school programs as well. Heading back to that main page, the next section is success stories. Everactive Schools is trying to populate this section. We want to hear more from everyone in Alberta who has started to make these changes. What kind of things have they done? How have they worked out? What kind of challenges did you face? And how did you try to overcome those challenges? These are the things we're trying to capture in this section. And we hope that this section continues to grow over the next few years as more and more people start to make these changes. For a bit of an example, this Terwilliger Riverbend Soccer Association tournament was a female soccer tournament that happened back in the summer of 2014. And Everactive knows a mom who volunteered, and she volunteered to take over the concession and make it healthy with just a little bit of our support. And she kind of captured a lot of the great things. So here's her kind of telling the story of how she got involved and her bit of her story of what happened. And then she highlights things that she feel made it a success, such as having the organizers 110% supportive, the fact that they only had to break even, the fact that they had a charitable organization to give leftover foods to, and the fact that she had an abundance of volunteers. She also pointed out some key lessons that she learned that she hadn't considered before. So easy math, don't put things ending in 25 cents or 75 cents. She found the homemade items sold the quickest. So the fruit kebabs, the veggie bags, and the peach chips were the best sellers, far and above things that were pre-packaged like granola bars. She also noted the importance of on-site advertising. So she had emailed the coaches and parents beforehand, but found that still people weren't necessarily trickling in. So maybe doing more on-site, especially at a tournament of this size where there's multiple soccer fields, promoting on-site might have benefited them. And then some other random tidbits. And she also outlined the number of volunteers and the time that they spent. So some great information if it's your first time planning an event. She also highlighted the letters that were sent to parents and coaches and provided the menu that she put, which can also be found in the menu section. So like I said, keep sending your stories in. We want this section to grow. All right, next we have promotions and marketing. This section has a combination of ready-to-use printable posters. So like numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right here, all these are posters you can print. So right here, making the healthy choice the easy choice. Traffic light stickers, print and use. Energy drink poster from Alberta Health Services. Oh, bad example. They're fixing that. Health Canada food group posters. So vegetable and fruit, print and use. So lots of print and use posters that you can put around your facility to get more buy-in, to get more excitement. There's also marketing tips in some of the resources, like numbers 9, 15, marketing healthy food choices, and 21. So check out promotion tips. There's point of sale messaging tips in number 10. Handbook offers a starting point to change and improve your school nutrition environment, and lots more. Great section. We've really tried to, like I said, include descriptions that are letting you know what you're about to click on. The last section is more linked to the classroom. So if you're not planning an event, but you just want to make over your food environment, whether it's in your school or your after school program or your Boys and Girls Club, this might have some resources for you. You know, here we have curriculum links based on grade. There's a cooking club manual, which is really great for an after school program. There's activity handouts for students and lots of great stuff in this section. Heading back to the main page. So there is your really quick and dirty tour of the toolkit. We're still trying to make this better. So I encourage, if you're exploring it and there's something you can't find, I would love to hear from you. And maybe it's in there and we just didn't label it correctly, or maybe it's not in there and we need to add it. So I encourage, if you're using this, to connect with me and let me know how it's going. We want to continue to make this better, and we want to continue to support those of you who are out there leading this change and making your food environments healthier, especially ones that promote sport and physical activity. So I'm just going to pull up our contact page. So here is the Everactive Schools phone number. So you can reach me on this phone number, 780-454-4745. Ask for Caitlin. Or you can always email me, which is my first name, Caitlin, spelled Kateellyn at everactive.org, just like our web name. I thank you for listening. I hope this video helped, and please connect with me so we can continue to make this toolkit better.